Hello,
Hello.
this is ProMel podcast number 2, and we want to talk about South Korea. So we've invited Override and Base Crusher on, as they seem to know the most about it. It's
Yes.
clear, in limited information and language barrier that we have, that the South Korean men's rights movement is the most successful movement in the world, bar none. It puts every single other men's rights movement that I know about right now and in history into the dust. Okay, so we need to analyze it, we need to learn about it, and we need to study it, and we need to get into contact with South Korean arrays if we can as well.
And we got a few stories proving our case that a
Yeah.
South Korean MRM is actually getting victories against feminists. Yes.
Men's look, I'm just going to say this outright. I was in the National Coalition for Men's meeting recently. I didn't really speak, okay, and there was just a bunch of losers. There was just a bunch of losers. They were actually they sort of admitted. So they were like, "Oh, you're newcomers," and we were just talking about the failures. We wasn't even talking about their group specifically. We was talking about I was talking about the men's rights movement in general, how it's a failure as a general, right? Which is absolutely true. It's objectively true. They're all defensive. And they said, "Oh, we've been around for 40 years. Oh, we're elders. We're veterans. Blah blah blah." Like, dude, you got nothing to be proud of. You should be ashamed of yourselves. You're a failure, right? I'm actually ashamed in some ways sometimes because even though it's beyond my control, I wish I could do more for men as a group. So if you're a men's rights activist, you need to feel a sense of humiliation, so it drives you to do better and drives you to do more. Because we're getting wrecked right now by the most successful hate movement in history. Okay,
Yes.
we've been destroyed by feminists.
Right here in the West, we have
Yeah,
feminists who they're controlling the banks. They're controlling our finances. They are in the position to debank men. But
yeah.
for
They
Control search.
control social media.
Yeah, go ahead.
They control social media. They control everything.
Yes, yes.
yes,
So Override seems to know quite a bit about this, as he's done a lot of research. He's a very good writer. He's done posts on the Reddit, which are like blog post quality, very, very, very good posts.
yeah.
And City Crush has actually done videos reading them. I think he's done like 2 or 3. So he's done some very high quality work. So I think Override should speak about this mostly.
You there, Override?
Yep, yep. I appreciate that. So yeah, I mean, if for what it's worth, I guess I could try to real quickly give a little summary of some of the things that the Korean MRA has done, which might be why, to illustrate why we see them as such a source of inspiration. So South Korea is not foreign to a lot of feminist inquisition, a lot of policies that they've tried pushing forward, and some of them include stuff like the fact that they tried to institute female-only parking spaces, and even laws that would make challenging rape accusations really difficult, and they've actually managed to supersede a lot of these things through years and years of work. So yeah, I think that's one of the main things that persistence that is so important for us to learn from and emulate. Yeah.
That
I think
proves to you that South Korean men are dedicated, and Western men are
Yeah.
not dedicated.
Yeah.
yeah.
But
Uh,
you got female only gyms in the United Kingdom that taxpayers pay for, right? So so that needs pushback against very fierce because it's actually a sort of a microaggression, but it's more than a microaggression. It's a boundary test. It's a disparagement of men. It's like you're getting treated differently. You're getting treated like a different caste. Suck it up, take it. And when they get away with it, they escalate to the next level. So it looks like the South Korean men recognise what this is, and they put a stop to it right away.
yeah, and another thing I want to point out is that they're creating a sort of like reverse chilling effect. So it's actually the feminists that have to hide their faces in South Korea.
Yes.
Sorry, I got to be quite quiet. It's very late here.
Okay.
Okay. So we got a few stories. So are South Korea's new policies silencing rape survivors? So this is a feminist media article that's just slandering the events that are going on in South Korea. So, in South Korea, they got a law to punish false rape accusations. That you can sentence offenders to prison for many years. I think up to 6 years or 10 years. And of course, the feminist media are calling these false accusers rape survivors instead.
Very manipulative term. It's probably because they're rape accusers. They're not rape survivors because you don't know one way or the other, right? So it's very manipulative language, right? So
So this is actually a pretty strong argument to why it's far right, because they're using they're denying innocent till proven guilty, right? So, which is a far right thing, in my opinion.
Yes. Well,
yes. Can we
yes.
read the article then?
Yes, let's read it. So, Seoul's crackdown on false accusations is having unintended consequences. Nah, you're dreaming there. So, yeah.
Stop. This is important. So feminism is an international movement. Okay, it's an international hate movement. So these South Korean women are running with a Western feminist narrative. Me Too. And the thing again, Me Too is not about sexual assault survivors at all. You've actually been on Me Too platforms and you see what they actually talk about, like especially on Twitter. They say men are undateable, men smell, men are ugly, men are losers, men are broke.
Yes.
Right. So if it was all about sexual assault, right, these women wouldn't be wasting their time disparaging men and saying what shit they are, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah.
Women post on the Me Too hashtag to disparage men and belittle men, and
Yes.
Yeah.
And
yes.
So I'm pretty sure the law is actually mandatory, so they mandatorily have to actually charge you if you falsely accuse.
Right.
Yeah, that's.
I think
that's good.
Let's carry on reading.
So the 33-year-old woman had attempted suicide twice. The years-long investigations and trials had been that stressful. Even then, she said she had only reported a fraction of the sexual abuse she'd suffered, fearing she might be. Yeah. Cool story.
No, the thing is, right, so I can buy a woman being sexually assaulted once or twice in a lifetime, but I've noticed these like borderline personality disordered women, they'll just tell constant stories about, oh, I've been assaulted again, I've been assaulted again. I've known plenty of women like this online. Like before I was like awakened, right? I used to think, gee, these women are unlucky. Isn't that bad? It happens to them so often. But no, they're borderline personality. They're just pathological liars, basically. So, yeah, I met that once or twice. Okay. Or maybe he was kidnapped by criminals, right? Maybe it happens like 1 in a million times, right? Maybe someone like that. But for the most part, it doesn't happen that often. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Exactly. And the proof doesn't have to be solid or irrefutable. It just has to have the case just has to have proof. That's all.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Fearing she might be punished for false accusations if her allegations were dismissed under South Korea's strict rape law.
She's scared. Yeah, she'll be punished for false accusations. She's basically admitting it, right?
Yes.
The thing is, if you're telling the truth, if you're telling the truth, you have nothing to be scared about.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. This is the painful reality faced by victims on the ground. Yet these politicians only keep talking about so-called false sex crime accusers as a winning strategy for elections, said the woman who requested not to be named for fear of public shaming.
False frame.
Yes.
So can I mention something real quick? So basically, that's the reverse chilling effect I was mentioning. And if you look at the news interviews of these women, they actually request to have their faces censored for that reason.
Yes.
Like it explicitly mentioned that.
Yes.
Yes, which is good. This is what we need.
Yes.
Yes.
Like, for example, editor of the Washington Post, right? He's still got a job. She openly said kill all men, and she got away with it. So there needs to be a chilling effect against these sort of misinterests. In the
Yes.
same way
Yes.
that there's an effect against white nationalists and Nazis,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Like their livelihoods that have to be under threat because they're putting men under threat. So the politicians she refers to are now in charge. President Yoon Suk-yeol came into power in May last year on a platform that included anti-feminist ideals, accusing them of causing the country's low birth rate and denying structural sexism existed in the country. Despite social... Yeah.
There is going to be structural sexism in the country. It's going to be directed against men only.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. The thing is, he sounds like a bit of a trad con. The feminists actually don't cause low birth rates, right? I think the same thing that causes feminism causes low birth rates, but it's not correlation. Is not causation. I think industrialization and education causes low birth rates because women don't give a shit about kids. To be honest,
Yes.
so but it's not really caused by.
Yes.
Yeah.
Countries develop and they give women what they want, so women just avoid kids.
Yes.
So, despite social and economic indicators that strongly suggest otherwise, one of his chief campaign promises was that he would go after people who lie about being raped. Good. Since Yoon took office, the number of people investigated in cases of false accusations has surged.
I want
The quotation mark. Yeah.
I want to point something out. So there's before they made false accusers, not false accusers, made accusers anonymous. Right, there was plenty of cases in the UK of women getting exposed for false accusations. Okay, they were getting named and shamed by the media now. Okay, so this does happen a lot. So you legitimately get some women who are so crazy they'll just keep on doing it over and over again before they're punished, like 25 times or 50 times before they're punished.
Yeah.
So, more or less, like this. I would actually argue this is a left-wing policy because you're actually fighting for innocent till proven guilty, and I don't think a lot of trad cons will understand that, but that's what I think anyway.
Right.
Right, okay. So, while most of these cases don't involve sexual assault, South Korean women's rights activists say politicians and much of the media have focused on false allegations of rape, fomenting a hostile environment that silences genuine rape survivors. Like how did they know they're genuine rape survivors? Yeah.
It's also quite contradictory because if you're actually telling the truth, you have nothing to be afraid about, like I said earlier. And if you are lying, then you do have something to be afraid about because you should be breaking the law when you're falsely accusing someone.
Okay, here's how it works. If you're lying and there's no evidence that you're lying, they're still not going to go after you. There's actually got to be evidence that you're lying because a lot of it's he says and she says, and there's not going to be evidence either way. And I assume the prosecutors are going to leave that alone. There's got to be absolute evidence of them lying. Like in the UK, that they got rid of phone evidence in trials because there's too many phones that showed the women enjoyed the sexual encounters and are praising the men afterwards. Right? So it was making like the feminists look bad. So yeah, again, there's got to be actual evidence that you're lying. So even if you're lying, and they can't find evidence that you're lying, they're still not going to go after you. That's how it works, right? There's actually got to be evidence of the crime. Yeah.
Yes. Not long ago, a feminist wave was sweeping across the economically advanced but culturally conservative country, launching Asia's most powerful Me Too movement and taking down powerful abusers, including a president.
So that means the Me Too movement is going after powerful men and destroying them. Basically, it's just a lynch mob.
Yes.
Online gang stalking powerful men. That's what it actually is.
Yes. Including a presidential contender. But these women are now facing a major political backlash, a men's rights movement that rejects the notion of male privilege. Good. because it's false. So it rejects the notion of male privilege and has rallied around the belief that false accusations of rape and sexual assault are widespread. And it helped
It's not a false belief. It's not a false belief. Rape, even by the lowest estimates of 7.5%, the 1% estimates a feminist lie that the feminists just made up. There's no source for that. The lowest estimates are like 7.5%. Okay, even that low estimate, which is still a lot because it's nearly 1 in 10. Okay, but even that low estimate makes rape the most falsely reported crime. Rape is the most falsely reported crime.
Yes. And it helped fuel Yoon's rise to the presidency. Though official statistics on the number of sexual assault cases reported in 2022 have not yet been released, the Fuller Project and Foreign Policy spoke to several women's rights advocates who say they've already noticed a chilling effect on rape survivors thinking about filing a case.
So this is like intellectually dishonest framing. So
Yeah.
they're actually it's like they're framing it as survivors when they're not, because
Yes.
if they were, they wouldn't be afraid of a bill like this.
Yes. It's a chilling effect on false accusations.
Yes, which is
Yes.
good. We need this.
Yeah.
When victims call us for help these days, one of the most common questions they ask is, would I be charged with false accusation if I report my case? Said Young Yeong-jin, an official at the non-profit Korea Sexual Violence Relief Center. Now, many victims seem to think not once, but twice, 3 times before making a decision on whether to report or not. It's a worrying situation. Well, yeah.
Stop. You brought this on yourselves. You fucked up the legal system. Okay. So, again, the legal systems in the West are absolutely ruined and destroyed due to feminists. It's good that there's one country cracking down on this nonsense.
Yes. I feel so much relief when I see these women just not being able to get away with what they do.
It's cathartic, if I'm being honest.
Yes.
It proves it's possible in this country as well. So,
yes. South Korea is an inspiration for the rest of us. We need to fight for our rights in our countries now. So, earlier this year, South Korean prosecutors announced that the number of indictments in false accusations was 68.8% higher in the second half of 2022 compared to the previous 6 months, before Yoon began his term. A flurry of sensational headlines greeted the announcement. Those who falsely claim I've been raped will become convicts if caught by this prosecutor, one proclaimed. Yes.
Wait, so can I point something out here? Notice how it's not saying you will, it's saying if you're caught. So like if there's actually evidence you lied, then they will prosecute you.
Yes.
Yes.
I do want to add another thing real quick. Yeah. Sorry, just real quick. Throughout this article, in case the readers have not noticed this, they consistently use quotation marks when they're talking about false accusations because they're trying to downplay it, just to
that's a common
solidify that.
That's a common Western media strategy. When they want to report on the other side, they use the quotation marks to deny their story, which is just to deny the truth, really. And, prosecutors say the increase is the result of a course correction after the previous centre-left administration restricted their powers. But feminists say the focus on rape is telling.
But that's projection. They're absolutely obsessed with rape.
Yeah.
They can lie about it. Fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Although the prosecutors' latest crackdown targeted false accusations of all kinds, only false sexual assault complaints were promoted and recognized as the most typical case of false accusation, because they are the most typical case of false accusation.
Yeah.
The most important crime. Yeah. Okay. You got to think about it. Like there's other crimes, like there's insurance fraud where there's a profit motive to do it and stuff like that. Okay. So even rape beats that out. Where crime, there's a profit motive to falsely report it. rape is more falsely reported. So that shows you
And
what's
there's
going
more.
on there, right?
Yeah, there's more than a profit motive for false rape accusations. There's a sadism motive. The women get off on destroying the men's lives that they accuse.
Yeah.
So it's because we live in a world where catching false complaints of sexual assault is considered a key accomplishment, said a joint statement by about 50 women's rights groups. That's scary. So
Yeah.
so many women's rights groups, so many women's groups just collaborate to just
I doubt there's 50 men's groups worldwide. You know what I mean?
yes.
Yeah.
So this just
Yeah.
proves the point. Like feminists are very good at organizing. They're good
Yes.
at organizing internationally.
You know what? Can you imagine if these women weren't just malicious and narcissistic and selfish? What good they could do for the world? The organising.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's very despairing to think about, but that's reality.
Yeah.
At the heart of the controversy is a 1953 law that defines rape on the basis of physical violence, not lack of consent. The switch from coercion-based to consent-based rape law has been adopted in recent decades by several countries, mostly in Europe, reflecting United Nations guidelines that favour the latter. Feminists...
No, this is important. We have to explain this. We can't pass this by. So they're talking about affirmative ongoing consent.
Yes.
Okay, that's what we're talking about, which is complete fucking nonsense. So, okay, let's hypothetically let's say there's a gay dude that came onto you, right? And you didn't tell him no, right? That's basically you're consenting to it, right? That's how it works. Okay, so they want to have this ongoing affirmative consent. It's a weird made up standard. Like rape is sex acquired by coercion or violence, right? So either you use physical violence or you blackmail someone. That's what rape actually is. Okay,
Yes.
anything else is not rape.
Yes.
So like,
Yes.
So
you actually don't. Most sexual encounters between men and women, and most sexual encounters, period, you don't verbally ask. Basically, you just don't.
yes.
It's done by body language.
Yes. Sexual encounters in general, they're initiated through a series of teasing and playing without just without formally stating do you want the encounter. Like
It's not like a robot. Yes.
yes.
Um.
And this is what
Something I want to point out is.
Yeah, go
Sorry.
on.
So something I want to point out is that like if we actually hold that standard and apply it to the definition, wouldn't women mostly be rapists because like they're the ones that usually they're very handsy with people they're attracted to relative to men.
Right.
Yeah, but the law does,
If you know,
Men instigate first a lot of the time. It depends. It's
Yeah,
very.
I'm just
Yeah.
saying
Women-
like
Women
Yeah.
make men take the first move in sexual encounters. They put that role on them. So they've got plausible deniability. Yeah, women are very handsy. They are. But yeah, let's carry on.
yeah. So feminists in South Korea have been trying to reform the law for years, but their efforts have created a sense of panic among some men who believe it would result in a flood of false allegations of rape. So yeah, the men fought back. They saw what was going to happen to them if the feminists got their way.
And they had solidarity.
Yes.
This is a law aimed at killing men, wrote one commentator on FM Korea, a prominent right-wing website popular among young men. Yeah.
So this is treating it with the due concern that is needed because this is actually what it is. It's there to drive men to suicide. Actually, this is structural violence against men, throwing them in jail, destroying their lives, driving them to suicide, or getting them killed in prison.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
Exactly.
South Korean men treat it with the severe gravity that it deserves. Western men don't. Like,
Yeah, like I can't imagine like Western MRM groups saying that this is a law aimed at killing men. That's a strong statement and appropriate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the Western MRM is so right wing, so stupid, and so solipsistic. It's just so blur. They don't even talk about structural violence
Mm,
as a concept.
Yeah,
exactly.
you don't see these guys posturing. Instead they actually take to the streets and they hold solidarity with each other.
Yes.
The men of the West, they actually validate the false accusations on high-profile men. Like,
Was it Cafe? I think it was Cafe. When a feminist woman claimed she got punched, attacked by an MRA, they raised reward money to find the person who did it to try and prove a point,
yeah,
right? Which put a man at risk. It could have easily led to a woman falsely accusing someone, pointing a man out at random to try and get the reward money, right? But they're trying to posture and make a point instead of saying, no, that you're lying, right? In fact, they should have started suing her or something, for defamation or something like that, instead of like trying to raise money to find the man who allegedly punched her.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know, is it insulting to say this? You know, men in the West are really pussy whipped. Like, even
Yeah.
in the men's rights movement, it's just
Yes.
Is at the end of the article more?
that's the. Oh, there's a bit more. South Korea has become a global economic powerhouse, but it continues to suffer some of the widest gender inequities among wealthy countries. It has the largest gender pay gap by a significant
point something out?
margin. Yes.
So I know it's been debunked a million times, but you have to keep hammering it down so the lies stay debunked. So it's an earnings gap. So basically, the men work more and they work deadlier jobs, so they get paid more on average. It's that simple.
They work more hours. It's the main reason.
Yeah, they
Yes.
work more.
Yes. Among OECD countries, and women only account for 15% of managerial positions in government and the private sector.
This is how it should work. Men work harder to get more managerial positions. So, because we get all this action. Like, in fact, women get 50% of managerial positions is actually going to be done by structural violence against men, right? Stealing those positions from men because woman works as hard as a man. She should have the same chance to get a managerial position as a man, not a higher one, right? Women work less, so they deserve less managerial positions as a whole. That's how it should work, actually.
Exactly.
Anything else is structural violence.
Yes. Yes. The country is considered exceptionally safe, except that nearly 90% of violent crimes are committed against women. What?
That's got to be totally made up. So worldwide, the violence rates against men are far higher than women, but South Korea is meant to be an exception. That's a press X to doubt.
Yes.
Like,
So
Source, trust me, bro.
that's basically a 9-to-1 kill rate on women. No country has that kind of rate against women that high.
I
yes.
mean, homicide and war death disproves that alone, but okay. So
Yeah, so the way they achieve, sorry, I just want to make a quick comment on that 90%. The way they achieve that 90% is because they're being disingenuous here. So you haven't translated this article, right? If I'm not mistaken.
This is English.
This is English as is. Okay, so either for whatever reason, this is disingenuous because there is a word called gangnyok, which is a subset of violent crimes. I haven't fully looked into it yet, but that is in South Korea typically affecting women, but that's probably because of how it's described. They can translate that to be violent crimes, but it excludes all the various other common forms of actual violent crimes that typically men are represented in. So this is a misuse of that phrase, even violent crimes. It's not that. Yeah.
So
It's a guy.
it's a very disingenuous sleight of hand. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't even think it's that complicated. I just think they just lied. I just think it's just pulled out the arse. I think it was just a feminist study done, and he just used that. That was basically complete lies. I'm sorry, I can't think of any. I can't think of any sort of crime that women suffer that they suffer 90% of. I just don't. I can't think of any.
Well,
sorry.
it's the same way you don't believe a KKK study about black people, do you?
Mhm.
You just sort of just disregard it. Go, okay, well, it's obviously nonsense.
I mean,
It's hateful
Yes.
nonsense.
in the climate we're in, feminists can just say what they want and have it published.
Yes. So basically, there's like feminist studies that cite other feminist studies, right?
Yeah.
And they're all bullshit false, and it's like a merry-go-round of them citing each other, and none of it's backed by truthful data.
Yeah.
Okay.
The global Me Too movement inspired many South Korean feminists to hit the streets and voice their grievances like never before, and they successfully campaigned to legalize abortion and push through landmark
Unborn, basically. Okay, cool.
baby
That's
murder.
it. Yes, that's where the priorities lie.
It pushed through landmark legal changes on the widespread problem of tech-based sexual abuse. That sounds like a lie. Yeah.
Most notably spy cam porn crimes. So something that's really rare. That rarely happens. So
But this has also motivated a men's rights counter-movement to fight back with vigor. When Yoon, a former chief prosecutor and presidential candidate, began to roll out campaign promises that echoed their rallying cries, they lined up behind him. During his campaign, Yoon promised to dismantle the country's gender equality ministry, which is highly controversial with the men's rights movement. Good.
Okay, say something. So they frame it as like an equality ministry, but it's not. It's actually a feminist ministry.
Like the feminist gender equality indexes are garbage, basically. So they measure women. If women are not advantaged in a field, it's counted as inequality. That's how it basically works. It's complete nonsense. So gender equality is a euphemism. It's like the Nazis setting up a department of like racial equality, basically, right?
Pretty much.
Yes. It's like the different ministries of Oceania from 1984 that contradicted what they stated they were. Yeah. So, like the Ministry of Truth. It just says lies. Okay. When the ministry, after years of deliberation and pressure from feminist groups, suggested updating the rape law to base it on consent, the proposal drew such swift, angry condemnations from the ruling party's lawmakers that they withdrew the idea in just 9 hours. Now,
So that's coordination right there.
Yes.
Now, the Yoon administration is considering removing reformation of the law from its Gender Equality Ministry's 5-year plan to ensure it won't be officially discussed during his term in office, which ends in 2027. You know, I hope South Korean men just keep up their political activism, keep electing men's rights-oriented politicians. Just keep feminists out.
I'm giving them some advice, South Korean men, MRAs. You have to push until you get feminism outlawed. Otherwise, you'll end up losing in the end. That's your victory condition. Because if you don't outlaw them, they'll just keep on coming and keep on coming. They're like the Borg. You got to even a few Borg survive, they still can come back and assimilate you. You just got to get rid of all the feminists. You got to outlaw it.
Yes. The changes in the political and social climates are clearly having a chilling effect. One prominent advocate for sexual assault victims told the Fuller Project and Foreign Policy. The advocate goes by the nicknames Witch or D in order to protect herself from the harassment that frequently targets women who speak out about rape in South Korea. Harassment just means men protecting themselves from feminist lies.
You've got to remember, this is projection as well. So there was this article that I read years ago. It was about feminists in Sweden, right? And this is like doxing before doxing was a thing. They'll go around taking photos of MRAs, right? Okay, and tracking them down and doxing them. They'll just take if they saw MRAs at a rally, they'll just take a photograph and find out who they were. Dox. I feel doing this in the 90s. So they're fucking. This is like evil. So every accusation against men is confession, projection.
I think those Swedish feminists even paraded an effigy of one of the MRAs that they took a photo of, like an effigy, and they shouted to castrate them. Yeah. It's like that's really how vicious feminists are.
It's the same way. If you're a Nazi, your job should be under threat, and you should lose your job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you should have to hide your face.
Yeah.
Okay. Which knows this harassment from personal experience. A survivor herself, she had to fight off a barrage of criminal accusations brought up by her rapist after she reported him. They included defamation, false accusation, insult, coercion, and even sexual harassment. After her assailant was eventually convicted and jailed, she adopted the insult her attacker's friends had once hurled at her as a gesture of defiance against the witch hunt that she experienced for reporting the crime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Extra doubt. Go up. So what? So if you look at this, it actually didn't say rape. The crime she was accusing the guy of. Go up.
Yeah. Okay, let's go up. This far up?
No, go up. Okay, sorry. Where was it? Oh, scroll down again. Sorry, this is my fault. Scroll down. They included defamation, false accusation. As a survivor herself, she had to fight off a barrage of criminal accusations brought by a rapist as she reported him. They included. Okay, so yeah, this is she's okay. Yeah, let's carry on. Sorry.
All right.
Okay, so they're calling this. So when the man accuses, it's just
Sorry, that was very badly written, and that's why I was confused there. So
yeah,
Yeah.
it's all good. So do you notice how when the man accuses, they just say it's a revenge accusation? You know,
yes,
it couldn't be that she was the perpetrator.
yes.
So, as I'm reading this, since then, Witch has set out to help other victims who endure similar revenge accusations. She educates experts from prosecutors to court judges about legal hurdles that punish many victims into silence and monitors sexual abuse trials on behalf of victims.
You should have no say on anything. You don't get a feminist advisor in the legal system
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah.
You don't invite a fox to advise you on security about chicken coops, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Other women have turned up in courtrooms to join her in a show of solidarity since the Me Too campaign kicked off in 2018. These women now fear their hard work will be undone by the growing political clamour to punish false accusations, a call that defies statistical realities. Which
Where's
said,
the quote mark? Call that to political realities. Why is that not a quote mark? Why is that not a quote mark? Because false rape, again, it's the most commonly falsely reported crime. So where's the quote mark for that?
yeah,
Obviously
I know.
Yeah.
Force, trust me, bro.
Yes.
Why do you spend turning up in courtrooms to protest? They should let the legal system take its due process. They're trying to influence it and intimidate it, actually. They should just fuck off and let the legal system work itself out. Okay?
Yes. Which said some survivors who had recently sought her help had given up on the idea of reporting the crime. So, given up on their mission to just ruin a man's life. Yes. Approximately 0.78% of sexual assault cases in South Korea are pursued by prosecutors for false claim, according to state data.
So basically, if it's less than 1%, okay, what is feminists complaining?
Yeah.
Don't you see the contradiction there? So any sort of pushback and any sort of accountability, even a little bit, is too much for them. They freak out over the thought of it.
Yes. It literally just the most minuscule bit of pushback here. It's like because feminists don't want their dominance challenged at all.
Mhm.
So
And
They're used to.
the false narrative that they promote is that they're most powerful weapons as well. They love it. They don't want it challenged at all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they're used to easy victories as well. So I think they go into it like they sort of become shocked in these extremely rare cases where they are challenged.
Yes, it's not. And also, I do think they hide out of fear, basically, but it's not because they're facing really strenuous backlash. They probably face some. It's that they're such narcissist bullies that when they face even a little bit, they give up. right? Because I remember back in the day before like Reddit, YouTube took action to protect them. Like feminists getting downvoted and mocked in comment sections was enough to make a lot of feminists rage quit their feminist YouTube channels back in the day, right? The downvoting really upset them. Okay, so yeah, even a little bit of pushback is enough to make them rage quit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And look what feminists do now. They just speak their false tales with impunity and invulnerability anywhere you go on the internet because it's all feminist controlled. So, the country already has one of the world's toughest laws against false accusers, punishable with up to 10 years in prison, compared to up to 5 years in countries such as the United States and Germany. Meanwhile, defamation is considered a criminal offense in South Korea, and speaking a truth can still be a crime. Article 310 of the Criminal Act states that a claim is not defamatory only if it is both true and solely for the public interest, and has come under widespread criticism from the United Nations and Korean activists. The result, women's groups say, is an environment where only 1.4% of those who experience sexual violence in South Korea seek help from the authorities, according to a government survey. Those whose rape
These surveys are trash. They always use watered down definitions of sexual assault every single time. They use weasel words. They use very loose definitions to try and inflate the figures. And like women lie about it anyway. Like women are pathological liars about rape, unfortunately. Like, so I'd say at least 20% of women are capable of just lying about it outright. So that's millions upon millions.
Yes.
Mm.
It's like,
Yep.
like you can't get quality rape research done. Like, because the issue of rape has been so heavily politicized, you can't get any factual accuracy from it.
Yes.
So, those whose rape complaints are dismissed by the authorities can be potentially pursued for false accusation, a risk that now looms larger in the eyes of many victims. The Fuller Project and Foreign Policy reached out to a spokesperson at the South Korean president's office by text but did not receive a response.
Good. It's a fuck you, feminist.
Shutting the feminists out. Goodbye.
Us, basically. So it should be done to them once we gain power.
Yes.
Yes.
The Ministry of Gender Equality and Family said in a written statement it is taking a victim-centered and strong punishment approach to follow the President's orders to protect victims of gender-based violence and plans to roll out an anti-stalking law this summer.
So gender-based violence is feminist hate speech, basically. Women don't suffer gender-based violence. And anti-stalking laws are just there for mentally ill women to be paranoid and prosecute men over, right?
Yes.
So...
But these claims have gained little traction with the country's feminists, who are struggling to figure out how to move forward. It feels like the clock of our society is sliding backward, which said, "But women can't go back to the past now," she added, echoing several victims and advocates.
Alleged victims.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We certainly feel better about the reality, but we also see this as an opportunity, said Kim Dong-yun, another activist at KSVRC. Her group plans to capitalize on the public attention on the consent-based rape law and combat pervasive online misinformation about it, such as allegations from men's rights activists that it would require people to sign a written consent form to have sex.
Hello, can you hear me? Hello?
Hello? Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, what's up?
Hello?
It's that they just quote feminists. They don't quote any men's rights activists. They don't review them at all.
Yes.
So it's not even garbage. So you're just hearing from one side. So the men's rights activists are completely silent. You don't hear their narrative, but you get to hear the feminist narrative constantly.
Yes.
So dishonest.
So, all right, we're near the end of this article. Thank God. She draws some hope from the fact that Yoon's pledge to dismantle the gender equality mystery has failed to materialize due to opposition from the rival centre-left party, which took a strong stand on the issue after months of protest and pressure from women's rights groups. The odds seem to be stacked against us, but we'll try our best to ride this out, Kim said. The survivor, who had attempted suicide, finally did manage to see her abuser convicted in court with the help of which?
So basically, the man got lynch mobbed, and he still aims to influence the legal system and pervert
Yeah.
it. Okay,
Yes. Like, the job of South Korean MRAs is not done.
yes.
Again, it's not going to be
But
done until you just get feminists out completely.
I think it's a constant fight. You always have to be on the vigilant side of things, like forever.
Yes.
So, I'm not a very educated person, but I know this much, the 33-year-old woman said. My life, my truth, and my right to be protected from violence are precious, and they are not some kind of a chip in someone's political game.
But so she's speaking like she's a man there, because that's what men go through.
Yes.
They
She's projecting.
yes.
So, this...
And again, these pieces, if you're not prepared to name themselves, I could just discount this as like hearsay. It's just garbage.
Yes. I mean, this article is just confirmation from our opposition's mouth. The South Korean MRM is having an effect. Like, they're in
Yes.
power.
Mhm.
And like really challenging feminists. Alright, what's the next page we got?
So I think it's override. The translated ones you can talk about, and just we don't want to read it. We just
No.
want to explain the context.
Yeah, I
Hang on.
agree.
Alright, I'll go to that one. But let's just... These are just examples here. So, women convicted of multiple false accusations of rape, sexual assault. Like, it's just one article that just proves that the law is actually cracking down on women who falsely accuse men. Don't know if we want to read it.
We don't want to read anymore.
No.
We'll drag it out.
Yeah.
We just post things in video descriptions.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah. I'll just put in the
Oh yeah,
description.
you showed the the act document, right?
Yes.
That shows that.
From the Court of Korea. This is an official government website, and they have the PDF. The crimes of false accusation. This guideline applies to adult offenders 19 years of age or older who committed any offences of false accusation. Criminal Act, Article 156. A false accusation is prescribed in the Aggravated Punishment Act. Aggravated Punishment Act, Article 14. Yeah, you can just read all this for yourself. I'll link this one as well. So,
yes.
So here's the article for you, Override. This was originally in Korean. We just auto-translated it. So,
Yeah.
Request for the Supreme
Yep.
Prosecutor's Office to stop the legal sexual violence investigation manual. I don't know if that's a perfect translation or not.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll just try to quickly, off rip, just explain what happened here. So basically, around as you see here, in 2018 is when the petition began. That this was in response to a law adjustment that the incoming administration at the time tried to push. The fundamentals of it is just that they wanted to make it such that if, let's say, a woman accuses a man of sexual assault and the man fires a counter investigation saying, no, I believe that you are falsely accusing me of sexual assault, you're abusing the law, this administration that had come in wanted to make it such that the man's counter investigation would be frozen until the outcome of the woman's allegation was saw its course. And that is part of a targeted attack in general, because the longer time that an investigation goes before you even start your counter investigation, evidence can actually, become less and less available. So the MRM fought against this and managed to get, I'm pretty sure this is right, 200,000 people, it looks like, to sign and counter this. So this is an example of a success from the Korean MRM.
Good. So they stopped the feminists from blocking men from being able to get their own justice in these false accusation cases.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good. So, well, that's all we have to see about that. So, we're just going to look at some other victories. So, women-only parking disappears, converted to family-friendly parking. Because in South Korea, feminists got to have women-only parking spaces. And it appears the South Korean MRM have rolled those back. Like, they're not completely gone, but they've opened them up for more categories of people, like the elderly, pregnant women, families with children. Like, it's a step better.
Yeah.
So
It needs to be male-only parking. Men do most of the work. You
Yeah,
know what I
but-
mean?
Yeah.
But even just removing the female-only parking, that's still a victory.
Yeah, it's pushing the envelope to allow them to have that sort of rhetoric out there anyway.
They're pushing the boundary back.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
far better than anything that the MRA in the West have done, right?
Yes. Because
Is it a micro? Well, it's not microaggression. It's microaggression type behaviour. So it's a boundary violation. It's a minor one, relatively speaking. Okay, so it's like in and of itself, it doesn't that much. If it was the only thing that women ever did against men, you wouldn't really care about it. But as a whole, as in all the other things that women do as a whole, right, holistically, it's part of their strategy to undermine men psychologically and push and push and push and get away with more and more. Okay?
yes.
I've got so override. So I think this is just a guess from my limited knowledge. But what kicked the men's rights movement off in South Korea was like feminists getting grants for men taken away because men in compensation for getting drafted got grants to compensate them for being kidnapped basically and enslaved for a couple of years, and feminists got that removed if I remember correctly. I think it radicalized a lot of men, I think.
Unfortunately, there is a little detail I want to add to that. To my knowledge, to this day, that additional grant or compensation that South Korean men used to get a while back for being, like, for example, conscripted, right? We're talking about conscription. It's still not there. It still hasn't been put back. So a country like Singapore, for example, we do have conscription, and technically in public sector, men do supposedly get compensation in terms of salary. But South Korea still doesn't have that back. So that's a fight that they're still going for, Yeah.
We actually need to get this grant back, and we need to get it backdated for all the years it's been removed. So all men get
Reparations. Exactly, yeah.
Yes. Yes. So, women-only parking disappears, converted to family-friendly parking. Shall we read this? So,
we did just what's going on.
yeah. Seoul's women-only parking lots are set to disappear after 14 years. Christ.
Yeah.
They had them for 14 years. According to the Seoul Metropolitan Government on the 17th, the partial amendment...
I thought we wasn't going to read it.
Alright, let's not read it then. I'll just link it. You can read it. So,
Okay.
and we got one more story. So, South Korean army removes poster depicting man-hating hand gesture. Because because the feminists, South Korean feminists, they made this gesture to attack Like it's just there to insult men.
Attack them under. So it's attack them over an insecurity that they have no control over. Your
Yes.
penis size is beyond your control. Yes.
Can I
Disgusting.
Can I point out the story of how they actually did this through a hunger strike? So
Okay.
basically there was this there's a game called Maple Story, right? And they actually saw the pinch gesture like in one of the trailers for a new DLC. So what they actually did is they all rallied up outside the actual studio. They went on hunger strike. They got billboards and like trucks with like signs on them to drive
Yeah.
by. And they not only did they get the finger gesture removed, they actually made the company issue an official apology. So
Mhm.
that they were
Yeah.
very coordinated.
And did he actually get
If
the?
I
You speak.
Yeah. Sorry. Yep. So the trailer he's talking about, true here, is the one for Angelic Buster. It's a new class, basically. And in a frame, the MRM in South Korea found a frame where there was this Megalian hand signal. It's to mock South Koreans' men's penis size. And they did, as True said, get Nexon, the company, to change the trailer, issue an apology, and all that stuff. I would also like to offer just one quick another example because it's a game that we've been talking about, Stellar Blade. Okay, so the developers of Stellar Blade are called Shift Up. They make another game called Nikki. Goddess Nikki. It's a mobile game. It's the same sort of thing. There's sexy women and stuff. And just last year, August 2025, they saw a Megalian's hand sign in one of the posters, and they made Shift Up change that as well. So it's they maintain that sort of protection in a sense of the art. They try, and it's pretty good.
Yes,
against this hand signal. Yeah.
They maintain it.
Well, I contrast this to the UK. So in the UK, we've had several adverts talking about manspreading. Like there was this Gift Gaff advert. We had this ugly, sweaty, geeky fat male on a bus manspreading. The concept of manspreading is hate speech, and nothing gets done about it at all.
Yeah.
I even saw complaints on GiftGap's support page, and fellow commenters were just insulting the user who was complaining about the ads. It's
Calling
like,
them incel.
yes,
And manspreading is mansplaining as well. They've used the term mansplaining without irony in adverts too. I do remember that. I can't remember which one exactly. So you have to be on the ball, and you can't tolerate one microaggression. You have to jump down on the company's throat. You have
Yes.
to put the chilling effect on them.
yes,
If you give them an inch, they'll take a mile.
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, South Korean men, they don't tolerate that. There was actually another question. Did these men actually get the feminists fired from the game studios? Like in
They did.
Maple Story?
I'm not entirely sure about Maple Story, so I'd have to review that.
If I
Another
recall
different-
correctly, they did.
All right.
Right.
Because I remember it's in one of Trevor's videos. They actually there's so many cases of them getting, even if they didn't in this case, there's so many cases of them getting them deplatformed from their companies.
Yep.
Sweet relief. Like, you need to get the feminists out. It's just attack men at every opportunity.
They don't give up, do they?
No. So do we want to read this article? So
Let's read this one.
Yes.
Last one, isn't it?
Yes, it's the last one. South Korean army removes poster depicting man-hating hand gesture. The finger-pinching gesture, known as the Megalian hand, is seen as a mockery of male genitalia.
It's a mockery of male genitalia.
Yes, there it is. There's the poster. The offending gesture.
What she did, she did it underneath the radar without them probably noticing. Women just did. I'll just take this opportunity to do it, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's really insulting.
Yes.
A common hand gesture in a South Korean army recruitment poster has prompted scrutiny of a little-known cultural sensitivity in the country. In the poster, a female model in a combat uniform poses with her hand resting under her chin. All quite innocent, except her thumb and index finger form a shape that many South Koreans associated with man-hating, according to the Korea Herald. The finger-pinching gesture is known as the Megalian hand, after the radical South Korean feminist group that adopted it as its logo. Its shape is seen as a...
So even if, let's say, they were just being like really hypersensitive, right? That's actually a good thing, because they're like, it means they're being alert. It's better to be too alert than to be too passive.
Yes. And can I point out something as well? So, radical feminist South Korean group is fighting for their rights. Apparently, they're so oppressed they're fighting for their rights, but they make the logo about mocking men with small penises.
Yeah.
It makes
Yes.
sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
It shows you that they're just there to disparage them and play the victim falsely. Proves
Yes.
it.
Yes. Like, feminists just, they belligerently go after men, and they do it to, like, all these little microaggressions. They just, yeah.
This does harm men psychologically. It does. Men hate, a lot of men go crazy over the thought of women hating them. I've known men personally who've had mental breakdowns over it, and they cry. It really, because men worship women and they don't want to be hated by women. Period.
Yes.
So yeah.
Yeah. Its shape is seen as a mockery of male genitalia. Cultural psychologist Han Min told a newspaper that fringe groups often adopted seemingly benign gestures to pass on coded messages in their public content. Groups that direct hate at specific targets often create their own symbols or coded language and slip them into advertisements and TV programs, gaining a sense of superiority or victory from the fact that the public is exposed to their messages without realizing it, he said. This is the same tactic as the far right groups. Yeah, the alt right.
Yeah.
They
it is.
slip their racist ideas into memes and humor to make the public accept them.
Yes.
They know that what they say and do is wrong. That is why they express it through anonymous hand gestures. Yeah, just like the alt right, they keep inventing new symbols to express their hate. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it.
Cool. So
it's good to see one country put a crackdown on feminism. Stop their relentless advance and their domination.
Yes. The thing is, men's rights activists are losers in the West. I'm sorry to say it. Okay, so we've been called extremists, we've been called losers, we've been called sensitive, right? Okay, we're just as bad as the feminists. Okay, we've even had one person going, "Oh, getting women fired from their jobs for listening to me is bad because it's oversensitivity or something like that." Recently, it's like you're basically attacking winners while you're a loser. We are socially dominated by women. We are crushed by women. We're having our jobs taken away from us, our livelihood taken away from us, our education taken away from us, our right to our family life taken away from us, our genital integrity taken away from us. Okay, we don't have a fair legal system for men anymore. We've had so much taken away from us by feminists. Okay, we face an existential crisis as men. I'm over exaggerating it. It's not a joke. It's not purple or blue haired women being silly or saying stupid things, all right, or having meltdowns. This is an existential threat to the safety of men, and it's only the South Korean movement that's taking this seriously. Men's rights movement.
Yes, and as much good as the South Korean MRM have done so far, they still need to be doing more because
it needs to be an international movement, like the Promo Collective. We strive to be an international movement. It seems the South Korean movement seems to be a single country. They don't seem to have English language translation at all, which is a massive mistake. You need to communicate as much as possible. Okay, even like Hezbollah, or is it Hezbollah? What's the resistance group from Yemen called? I can't remember the name. Even they've got
Houthis.
Houthis. Even though you've got English speaking,
Yeah. Yeah, they do.
they do. South Koreans need the same. It can't be insular because feminism is an international hate movement. It's got the whole world against you, right? And they're going to go after you. They're going to try to conform. They're going to try and crush you any way they can with international pressure. So you need to communicate with the rest of the world.
Yes.
That's my advice to
And
you.
something else I want to point out is that we have actually made some progress recently. We've recently hit 215 members on the Discord, so there is some strides being made. We're about to hit 30,000 monthly views on the subreddit, so there's progress, but we still need to do a lot better.
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
So,
If I may just add one quick thing to real quick substantiate Pink's point here about feminism being international. In the very first article that we went through, if you notice, they talked about feminist groups and the UN working together to push for, rape to be taken more seriously. That's the phrasing they use. It is international. It's with international pressures. Just precisely why men's rights activism cannot afford to take local tribal positions like this race of men is oppressed, that race of men is oppressed, all men are oppressed. It's through the same reasoning, same rationale, same inventions of moral panics throughout the world, throughout history. That's just what I point out. Yeah.
Like we can't have this stance that feminism is just bad in the West, it's bad in Europe and America, but it's not. But it's not bad in the Middle East. It's like that's where it's needed. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even understand the fucking logic of it. I can't even understand. Let's say hypothetically, women had some issues in some country somewhere, right? Okay, that not getting addressed, and they're facing unfair discrimination. Okay, fine. Why do you need a fucking hate movement to address it? It's fucking retarded when you think about it. It's like saying white people are being. Let's say there's some country, small country somewhere, the white people are oppressed. Let's say some white minority are getting persecuted in some random country somewhere that I've never heard of, right? Okay, let's say there's a country that's 10% of the population is white and they're getting persecuted. You don't go, oh yeah, these white people are being persecuted. Let's get the Nazi party over to sort their issues out. It's like saying that, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's bloody.
Yes.
It's like so stupid. Value of it. It's like, come on, feminism is a hate movement. Reject it completely. If there was actually any legitimate women's advocacy groups, they wouldn't use the term feminist. That's all.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. It's like trade union. We're a trade union group made up of mostly white people. We just happen to use the term Nazi party. You wouldn't buy that for a fucking second, would you?
No.
Exactly.
Okay.
Wouldn't.
Feminism is a hate movement. It's the OG hate movement that predates all other modern hate movements. Right? Okay.
Yeah.
It's the first modern hate movement of the industrialized era. And it's the most successful hate movement to ever exist.
Yes.
And it's the most far-right position you can have.
It's an international movement. It's got the most global domination of any movement. And if the men's rights movement is to succeed, it can't just take wins in one country. It's got to take wins internationally as well. Men need to coordinate with each other worldwide, cross countries.
Yeah.
I think.
Yes.
Have we said everything? Does anyone else want to say something before we wrap up?
I've said everything.
I think I've said everything.
I'm pretty happy with this, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone. This was the Pro Male Collective Podcast, Episode 2. Over and out.